Hi again guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about fibroids. What are they and who is at risk of getting them? It's the start of a new series. I'm going to be looking at fibroids, so make sure you stay tuned so you can get all the information about fibroids. But let's get into today's. Now, fibroids are really very common. We know that at least 1 in 3 women are possibly likely to have a fibroid. What's a fibroid? It's a benign tumor within the womb, a benign tumor of womb tissue. It's also called leiomyoma. Now, we don't know how the tumor starts to happen. We just know that there are certain women and certain conditions where you are more likely to find fibroids than others. The other thing that we also associate fibroids with is because they're benign, they're not going to spread or invade other organs, such as the way you have in cancer that is aggressive or that is metastatic. So fibroids are benign, they're not harmful in that sense, but they can cause complications. And in subsequent videos I'm going to be looking at the symptoms and the complications of fibroids, because I think it's important, being a very common condition, for women to know what it is, how it happens, and what the symptoms are like, so it can be easily recognized and people can proceed towards treatment. So first, fibroids will usually occur within a woman's reproductive age range. So it's unlikely to happen in a woman who has not yet reached puberty, and it's unlikely to start in a woman who has reached or is approaching menopause. So you find that outside of those two particular groups, it's more likely to happen in women in the middle. In addition, because these tumors are happening within the womb, they are also under the influence and therefore will grow because of the hormones that control the activity of the womb. Fibroids can grow to different sizes. It is possible to have a very small fibroid, a few centimeters wide or long. It's also possible to have a huge fibroid that actually appears to be the size of a full-term pregnancy. Some women may have just 1 or 2 very small fibroids, or have several small fibroids within the womb, compared to another woman who has just 1 very large fibroid. So they grow slowly, they have different patterns of growth, but it's more or less the same structure, the same type of growth that's happening, just that it occurs in several different ways, shapes and sizes. Number 3, fibroids run in families. To be specific, they're more likely to happen in the first degree relative of a woman. So if a woman has fibroid, it's possible that her mother, her sister, or her daughter may develop fibroid. Number 4, now let's narrow down the age group of people who are more likely to develop fibroids. We've excluded those who have not attained puberty, and we've excluded those who are in menopause, and we're left with the group in the middle. But if we tighten that scope to look at the age of the woman, it is most likely to be happening in the lady within her early 40s, next the woman in her late 30s. Those are the age groups that it's more likely to happen. The 4th factor, we've talked about the different age groups that can be associated with fibroids, and we've said that it's less likely to happen in somebody who is at puberty or around puberty, and less likely to happen in somebody who is approaching the menopause. So let's narrow it down. Fibroids are more likely to happen in a woman in her 40s, more like her early 40s, or in a woman who is in her late 30s, and around those particular age groups. The 5th factor about fibroids tends to happen most commonly in women of African or Afro-Caribbean origin, followed by women of Asian origin, and followed by women of North American or European backgrounds. The 6th factor about fibroids is that it tends to be more often in women who are obese or overweight. So gaining weight is a known risk factor for the development of fibroids. Studies have also indicated that women who have a larger abdominal size tend to have fibroids more than women who have a smaller or trimmer abdominal girth. And the 7th factor is that women who get pregnant early on in their reproductive lives tend to have fibroids less than women who leave things a little bit later and get pregnant later. And lastly, women who enter puberty early are more likely to have fibroids compared to women who enter puberty later. So a girl who has puberty around the age of 10 or 11 is more likely to develop fibroids than a lady or a girl who develops who starts her puberty from the age of 13, 14 or 15 upward. We've had a brief look at fibroids just to say what they are and what conditions make them more likely or who is more at risk of developing them. Like I said, it's the first video in a series, and I'm going to be doing a lot more sessions talking about the symptoms of fibroids, the treatments available, because like I said at the beginning, it's a very common condition, and I think it's important that women know about this problem and know about the symptoms and are able to seek help if they think that they might have fibroids. Thank you for listening. It's Askawayhealth, where we provide you with direction and clarity for everything medical. I'm always happy to hear from you, and if you have any questions on this topic or anything else you'd like us to cover, feel free to send us an inquiry. I will put all the details for our contacts in the description below. But it's great that you spent some time with me, and I'll see you again